to keep my strawberries from going mushy? Strawberries from going mushy. I've got a lot of them out there. Some of them are softer than other, I don't know.
We'll save that one for other
Save that one
business.
for another time.
All right, I would like to officially call to order the Tuesday, June 19th, 2018 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. And as always, we will start with a roll call. I am Brian Barabee.
Jeffrey Bryan.
Rebecca Longwell.
First up this evening, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now hear a request. The Bolton Conservation will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider the request for determination submitted for 272 Harvard Road, request for an above-ground pool, a public meeting to be held right now. Don't believe the applicant is with us tonight.
I am.
Did not mean to. Do you want to come up?
Oh, sure.
Please. Well, neither are we most of the time, so you're fine.
You just want to send that down to Laura.
Yeah.
So this is just from the site visit. So we had been, is that? No, it's not. We had been on site earlier today. I left you 2 messages. Where am I? Oh, okay.
We came out this morning to go to work.
Yeah. And that's what I figured, everyone's away, so. Yeah, this is the right one. So what I had done was I pulled up, the resource delineation that was filed with the property some time ago. And I realized it was subdivided since then to create your lot. A lot to the right if you're facing the street, and then to your left.
Yep.
Just to figure out, because the online GIS is updated, so
okay.
that's why when you look at that first, it looks like there's no resources on
Right.
the property. Then you pull this up, and then certainly walking on the property, we were able to see like where the stream goes and what one goes to the end there, and then sort of encompasses your property.
Okay.
The good news is, and one of the questions that did come up was the tennis court. Is that on your property or is that on the abutter's property?
That's on our property.
That is,
That's your
okay,
property.
so that's beneficial. So when we were walking the property, we saw that you were flexible with where you were gonna put the pool and trying to be mindful of the buffer areas and resource areas. And I think the 2 places that we found that were level, and again, looking for resource areas, not necessarily the aesthetically most pleasing place, would be either where the trampoline is now or between the trampoline and your house, or the best place, I think, both for privacy reasons as well, would probably be on the tennis court, but I realize you probably use that for other things as well.
Yeah.
But so those were the 2 sort of immediate areas, and I don't know if the other, so Jeff and Brian were out.
How many, do you have little kids that you have to watch
So
around the pool? I mean, pools are dangerous, but I'm just wondering.
yeah, so I wouldn't want it that far away as the tennis
Yes.
court, because I've got, twins who are 9 and a 12 and a 13-year-old.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's, that would be, the tennis court is perfectly flat, would be a good
I
place
know,
for it.
it would be awesome.
But then you'd have to move the house.
Yeah.
To the tennis court.
Yes, it would be nice to.
So that would be,
closer to the house.
that would, my only question, of what you needed to
Yeah,
pay attention to at
right,
the pool.
right.
What are these 2 things?
Oh, that's a septic.
That's an old septic
or is it
system.
current?
Oh, yeah, I guess, because the
Well,
current one
Is over there.
starts
no.
there, but I feel like it goes, they cut right through the tennis court.
Yeah.
and
Isn't
they
that
go
the
up
box?
hill.
I
Did
have
that?
no idea.
Yeah.
I
That's the
think
box
it
that-
is,
Those are the boxes?
because that's where they clean it
Yeah.
out or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually-
I was just wondering if
That
they were.
front yard, I back mulched all around it, I put a rock over that spot where, because you only need 1 chamber.
Right,
To pump
oh,
water.
okay,
And
all right,
we had
that's good to
planted
know.
some,
Yeah.
made like a
pretty.
little garden with
In that
low
area.
root system.
Yeah, that's a
This
good
is
idea.
option.
Okay, the root system, so on.
Yeah.
All kinds of advice
No
you get here in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, I mean,
So I don't know, the other question I think we had for you, understanding now that you want it closer to the house, but, where were you thinking originally?
so our ideal spot was, so we have like a little garden area right outside the house that just my kids
To
would
the
just
rear?
like, yeah, to the
Yeah.
rear of the
Yeah,
house.
Yep.
And then right behind that, there's a flat area. I have no idea what they used it for.
Okay.
It's gravel right now. It's growing like crazy with weeds right now, but.
And now that's between that garden area and the tennis courts you're talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like going up the hill. It's
Yeah.
like one step above where where our little area is.
Okay.
So there's like it's not quite big enough to hold the whole pool. We would have to probably flatten out a little bit.
So where
Okay.
those 3 stumps were?
Yes,
So those
exactly.
3 stumps are in there, and then, so you would,
That's the exact area. The tree warden took down those trees for us last year.
you take the,
Well, privately, like we paid, yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, just to,
that
help
doesn't
them
show
more.
that, but, you know, it's,
I remember.
remember that they
yeah.
have, there's a little perennial, little garden. through
Yeah,
there.
yes,
And
yeah.
right behind it, there were 3 big tree stumps and a little thing that.
Yeah.
Comes in.
What you were thinking about doing is filling that in and flattening it out.
Level it.
we were thinking, cause there is quite a good amount of flat, we were hoping to just like cut into where the trees are a little bit, like where the stumps are, and like pull it to make it flat over there, so then it would be hidden by our garden, but we also would like to put up some fences in our yard eventually when we have the money, so nobody will be seeing anything that's going for, aesthetically.
Do you need a fence around a pool? I don't know. If you can't take.
I don't think above ground.
Yeah, I think
But,
I'm not
yeah, I
sure.
think
It's
you're-
right in
In
the
ground
front
view.
fence.
Yeah, that's nothing to do with what we're doing, just wondering.
Yeah. So I don't know if that area is within, I mean, but we can be flexible, obviously, my kids are dying for a pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
We're
I know,
home
yeah.
all summer, because my husband's a teacher and I'm a guidance counselor, so we literally, the kids don't do camp, they do Camp Cotter, we call it. Yeah.
I mean, it's within the 100-foot buffer, so it's still relevant that you would file the RDA. So originally, when we were out on the site, we're like, oh, they could probably get it outside outside the buffer areas, but that makes sense now.
Yeah, that was a lot of what we said. So you have this one little lovely strip that's outside of both resource areas.
Oh, okay.
Which would, and again, and this is somewhat guessing, I'm guessing the trampoline is like right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is probably about halfway between the
Now I'm
trampoline
like,
and your
which
house.
way am I looking at?
Yeah, sorry, it's backwards for you, right?
This is the
That's
road.
your
Right, this is the
Oh,
road, so
okay.
your shed's there,
Yeah.
and the trampoline, I think, is in this corner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, so this is a resource area.
Well, this is outside,
Oh, this
there's,
is
believe it or
outside
not,
the
so
resource area.
everything up to this orange and everything up to that orange. You have this lovely little strip that goes up.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
fun.
And of course, God, is that planting area here, the 3 stumps here, it's hard to
Yeah.
figure out.
That's what I would guess it is
Yeah, somewhere.
Everything's in a resource area.
right there.
That's-
I mean,
So, again, might not be possible to fit the entire pool, like it has to go right in there, but-
right.
But one of those,
We could
if
start in that.
if it'd be possible to try to get not half of it in there, but a majority of it, in there, or let's see where the tennis courts
This is
is.
the tennis court right
you gotta
here.
be careful. So
Okay.
it would be in front of the tennis courts, but
Oh,
if it's possible to offset it just a little bit,
Definitely.
to try to get the majority of it or half of it or what you can in that strip and the rest coming out onto
Yeah,
the lawn.
absolutely. I
Um,
think that's totally.
it's all existing lawn right now.
Yep, on the strip.
Yeah, and there's, I'm gonna slide this down the board.
Is there's no pumping when you're vacuuming it?
That's the other.
We have from our old house that we brought with us, it's literally a vacuum that you just,
yeah.
you plug it in and it roams around and then you take it out and empty the debris and
Yeah.
leaves or whatever.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's the
To clean the
debris,
pool?
like
Oh.
I know with in-ground pools, it, you know, they have the backflow and they pump it out. And
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
an
yeah.
issue of where it's getting pumped out or where you're emptying it. Obviously,
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
want to empty
yeah.
anything into the wetlands.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the chlorine or whatever in it.
And it's
chemicals in
people's,
it.
naturally, people will like, I'm pumping up my pool, put it right here in the
Right.
stream and dump it right in, which is generally a no-no.
Oh, yeah.
But we will usually put that on conditions, just
Yeah.
saying, use best management, don't dump it in
Oh,
the
definitely. We're
so
gonna-
Harvard Road, right?
Yep.
Salt water.
How, the driveway comes in right there, house shed. This is,
That's
outside,
it.
that's the buffer zone for that side, that's the buffer zone for that side. This is all existing lawn, basically, coming straight up.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're looking is somehow to, like I said, try to get,
Mhm.
not, you know, gotta get right in, but, you know, try to at least get a majority or what you
Mhm.
can into that outside the buffer zone, and that's just, it minimizes the,
What size pool is it?
24 is round,
Yeah,
just
a
around.
round one?
So I don't, how big is that buffer zone? I can't even. It's
I
kind of
think
thin and
An
then.
inch is
Yeah.
40 on
Yeah.
that
Was it,
scale.
I don't know.
did we measure 20 feet?
Oh,
I
okay.
can get a finger or something
Things
like
that
that.
was-
When I looked at it, when we were out there, we did a little finger.
yeah, we're,
So this is, that's like 20 feet was like that finger right there, am I right? 1 inch equals
So
40
40
feet.
is one.
So this is
So
about
it's
20
zero.
feet, so it's just about 20 feet there. It gets a little-
So it could mostly go in that.
yeah, or, you know, to center it or get half fit in that, but just to try to use that line to guide
Definitely.
going up, because like I said, I think most of it's existing lawn, and you want it, you said you want to be in front of the tennis court, so
Yeah.
we're definitely looking like this area.
Yeah.
I never thought about the water.
Mhm.
I never thought about the water, you know, the
Yeah.
chlorines and the stuff in the water, and it's an interesting thought, but
Yeah. So, and I don't know how much of a difference it makes, but we are planning on putting in a salt water system instead of chlorine.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no backwashing with that, is there? Or is
No,
this
I
no-
think the only time, see, we had, the last time we had an above ground pool, we did a filter
Mhm.
cartridge, which literally,
Yeah, there's,
there's no
There's no-
backwashing, you just
yeah.
take it out and
Take it out.
spray it or replace it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think there are some filters that have, I don't know
think
how
you-
that
Yeah, I
works.
think it's more to get the debris out than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah,
But the
salt
salt's, yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
nice system, everybody swears by it.
yeah,
and
I
it's-
have
Yeah.
friends who have it and they just
resets
say,
itself.
the chlorine just kills our eyes during the summer.
Right,
My
yeah.
kids look tortured and
Mhm.
anal about it being clean, so I really use too much. So I wanted to try something different. I'm thinking the salt water would be better and probably better for the land.
Yeah.
But my husband and I very much care about, you know, our land and our property and, you know, there's no intent to do anything icky or bad.
Filling it
No.
On the current RDA, does it list a look, I'm just trying to think what, it's the wording we would need to add.
Yeah, I was really like unsure how to fill
Oh,
it.
no,
I was like,
yeah.
anywhere
There's
you
pretty
tell me I can
names
put
in
it.
You probably did better than many people.
Location, but I can certainly add that. So right now I have above ground pool placement on property measuring 24 feet round. And then just mention the ORAD that was previously issued for property showing resource areas, which is what Jen has.
yeah. So this-
Listing the associated numbers. So we could add a location associated to that. Or,
Go ahead.
because it's a conversion of lawn to a pool area, so we could add it on as a condition as well. But I think it would be better suited because you're converting lawn to an accessory, to a use accessory to residential structure such as a pool. The way, if that's what the commission's gonna make for a determination, the way that option reads, you'd have to put it in the project description.
Yeah.
Unless you do a different determination, which would allow you to like -3, which would allow you to issue conditions associated with it.
Right, which would be locations. And, operations and management plan. Do we have anything for management of pool runoff? Right,
Not currently. I can, but like I said, I can certainly add that to the project description portion of this.
that ends up being kind of like an ongoing condition.
For an ongoing condition, well, you can certainly have a determination of applicability recorded, but it's not typical. Typically, ongoing conditions are associated with a certificate of compliance, which is associated with a notice of intent. Which, if the commission thinks that's necessary, it is, but I think you may be able to just have this,
I
Recorded,
think
bring
it'd
back
rather go that way. So, the determination, the pool one, is it -2? What's the?
-5. And then that's the reason why.
Oh. All right.
Cool, back up, implemented during construction.
That makes sense. Just trying to figure out how to write it up and put it together. So it would be, if it were the -5 determination, right? As far as conditions, well, not conditions. The conditions are additions to the project description is the,
So you could say to, as part of your motion, you
yeah,
would like to add to the project description.
the location associated with construction of the pool as discussed, right? I'm trying to think if there is wording for standard operations and maintenance. Best practices should be used.
Best practices,
Right.
not directing anything to resource areas.
How long have you lived there?
Just almost 2 years, only like a year and a half. We moved from a Sugar Road house, to there, so.
Just when I've seen you around Bolton.
Yeah, yeah, we lived on Sugar Road, and that, the 218 Sugar Road, the big old house, I think it's like a art something now. Family moved in there from Sudbury, and actually they're building
yeah.
houses all around it,
Yep.
even in like the front yard.
Over by.
Yeah, exactly,
Over by
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Houghton. When we first bought it, none of those houses were built.
Fun enough.
They started going up, we were like, oh boy, all of our privacy just went out the window. It's beautiful.
And then the location and then what was.
Best practice, best practice to be followed in directing runoff from pool cleaning or maintenance, be diverted away from that levels.
This is just notes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You write, I'll close.
Okay.
All right. like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 272 Harvard Road.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So closed.
So does the stream go underneath the barn?
It does. Is that crazy?
And
Yeah.
yes.
I was looking at that, trying to figure out.
You,
they
Yeah.
have
Oh,
put
good,
it in
except
there or
that
something?
I also do.
When you do it.
I got you.
Is the barn functional?
It is now, because it was falling over, and we did have a guy who came and fixed it. I guess it was because it was a standing, whatever it was, he got approval to do it, and it wasn't a big deal, but they put in beams. They ripped out all the rod around the bottom, jacked it up, secured it, and put in a lot of pressure treated wood right into the cement. And then we just put wood back up around it to close it up. Yeah, so hopefully it will stay now.
So it looked like the
Somebody
water-
else's problem.
Looked like the
Yeah.
water-
It was 80 years from now,
Exactly,
somebody else.
It looked like the
exactly.
water was coming down this way, and then over on the other side of the street, it looked like the water was coming down this way.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out what, it's off topic, I apologize.
Yeah,
No.
no, but this spring when we had all that rain, it was like,
both sides.
it was like right up to the top, and then it just, it was.
Disappeared.
Yeah. It's funny though, it dries, it'll dry out within the next few weeks, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we
Yes.
have a -5 determination with the following items added to the project description. The location associated with construction of the pool to be added as discussed in tonight's meeting. And then best practices be followed in directing runoff from pool cleaning away from the wetlands wherever possible. That's it. Do I hear a
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So approved.
Awesome. Thank you. So
You
should-
get invited over.
Yes, as soon as we hit it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, just-
Well, the conservation committee party.
So type up
All
that
right.
first page with more
Perfect.
collected. So I will have a hard copy of this for you,
Okay.
for your records, and then, did you want her to record it, or no?
Trying to think of, in the past, what have we done? I don't recall
Typically our days.
being asked, or not.
Okay,
I don't think so.
okay,
I-
that's totally
Yeah,
fine, I was just making sure. I
Yeah, no,
saw
it was the
on
first time
topic
it came
before.
up. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Which-
I'll give you a hard, or I can mail it to you, whichever's easier.
Okay, that's
Um,
totally great.
And then you should be all set, so once you get the hard copy, you're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I
Take
appreciate
care,
it.
good luck.
I promise to take good care of it. Not do anything.
Don't
bad.
Good.
Thank you.
7:25. Okay. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider the request for determination submitted by William Candido regarding the proposed renovation of an existing structure located at 725 Main Street. The public meeting to be held right now.
I think I have seen something down to you.
Yep.
Lori. I tried to email them before I left the office, I'm not sure if they sent it or not, and I'm not sure who got it, but, so that's the site visit report, I don't know. Jeff.
I didn't have time to look at the email, but
Yeah, I can give you know, it's
simple.
it's the pink house located next to the common,
Yeah,
on the far side of the common. He's renovating.
It's a dual.
So right now, this RDA is just looking for a dumpster, if I'm correct.
Yep,
Bringing in a dumpster.
mhm.
And did he add the trees? Are we adding the
yes, so.
removal? And the removal of 2 trees. You can probably see them there on the
Yeah.
side of the house. It was pretty clear being out there, the trees were growing into the foundation.
Foundation.
And they're like half an inch off the house. I wouldn't feel comfortable if it was my house.
Mhm.
I couldn't see asking him not to remove those.
Made sense to me.
Yeah, I can say I would not keep those on over my house at all whatsoever. So that was part of it, was the tree. As far as the dumpster goes, you know, everything's in the wetland, or everything's in the buffer zone. It's a pretty well-defined square backyard lot. It's fenced. Basically, the fence separates the backyard from Great Brook
Yeah.
flowing through. And it's not huge. It doesn't have a ton of area. So what I was thinking was to basically set and place on the existing lawn. And I was thinking maybe we should basically just try to give, there's not a lot of room there, but just to say to try to keep it at least 3 feet from the back fence and at least 3 feet from the side fence or something
Right.
along those lines. I was trying to think of like
Yeah, this is
5
a lot.
feet, but I'm like, you know, depending on the size of the dumpster,
Well, he has
5 feet
room.
might be too much, you know?
I think he has room in there to put a dumpster in the
Yeah.
back without, I mean, he's not gonna be doing, I don't know, because it's gonna be right where the septic system is going to go.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to do that and then move it, but I think there's room back there for it.
Yeah.
The only thing, I wanted to make a quick suggestion when I went by there again. It might be nice if we asked them to put the porta potty in the back of the house. Can't,
Right
too
on Great
close
Brook,
to?
I would not.
No,
Yeah.
so that's the reason it's in the front?
I would assume so.
Okay. I
That's,
just thought
that's
I'd bring
purview
that.
of Board of Health.
Yeah, okay, all right. So I was just asking the question because it
Yeah.
sort of looks
Like a porta potty.
like a porta potty in the
Yeah.
front yard.
I-
Anyway,
I get
just
that, and I
question.
understand it's
Probably
not
get a lot of
aesthetically
business,
pleasing, but, yeah.
We just tried to quarter for everybody to drop in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for clarifying that, you're
I
absolutely.
mean,
I'm
it's
just.
totally up to the commission, but I think it was in place before we even,
Got involved in this thing.
we even saw the RDA, and at that time I said, any dumpster, even probably the porta potty, is in the buffer area, and get it as
So,
far away as you
The
can.
other question I had, Rebecca, is if you do put a dumpster up back there, how are they going, and it starts raining like crazy, and there's all insulation and crap in there, how are they gonna keep that from leaking out into the brook?
Well, so.
Maybe to put a silt fence around
Tarp or
it?
something.
Or something like that, maybe we should ask
Possible.
that.
Yeah, possible.
Because if you're talking about the porta potty
Yeah.
leaking, you know, maybe we should worry about something like that. That just occurred to
Yeah,
me
I think
now
that's
when
a
you're
valid point.
discussing, you know, just to keep it from leaking into Great Brook and feeding the tumbleweed.
So I included in your folders a draft of conditions associated with this. And it's nothing, it just explains the conditions and then just saying, you know, constructed according to the description given. And then draft of where the dumpster should go, no refuse left or placed in the resource area at any time, which there's a fence there, so there shouldn't be, but with the kind of storms we get in New England, you just don't know. Stockpile materials, like I said, and then new materials if they're there on site, again, just to reduce blowing or being moved, or being tempted to be moved by people passing by.
Was
But
it-
existing driveway, not paved.
I was gonna say, there wasn't any paved area, was there?
Yeah,
No,
so that should be driveway area.
But, he was thinking the backyard, though, wasn't he?
That's true, that's.
Yeah,
we
no,
can do
no,
that,
yeah,
That's fine,
yeah.
again, this was just sort of, so we
No.
had something to look at.
Yeah, man, which makes a lot of sense, because I was thinking, oh, no, that makes sense, it would fit perfect in that driveway. I'm like, but then where's he gonna park his truck?
Yeah.
He's
over at the common.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough
You will
one.
have to ask the person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta add something about a fence to keep.
I was trying to put
Trying
that
to
in.
figure out how to say that nicely.
Oh, with the dumpster?
Yeah, I don't know what they do.
A waddle
Yeah, it's
along-
you do
along
a
the
waddle,
fence.
you can ask for
A
it to be
waddle along
covered.
the fence,
Yeah.
and just contain the area.
Yeah,
Yeah, What do you think? It's a good idea. Yeah. That brook has been damaged
So
enough,
the
I think.
fence at rear.
Homeowner seemed like a nice fellow and was willing to do whatever it takes to.
Yeah.
To sort of make sure, it works. So,
And then you wanna say backyard, no more than how
So I
many
was
feet?
saying to driveway or existing lawn at least 5 feet from existing fences. That should be fine, right? Check it out, right? Should ask, did anybody here comment on 725 Main Street?
Yeah, Martha Rennie's not here for the historical commission. I guess Mr. Candido is not here.
Correct.
I had brought a historic survey for him. You gonna be mailing him anything? Or having him pick up something?
Yes.
I just thought you could maybe put it with the
Yeah,
documents that you have.
sure.
The historical commission is thrilled that this house is not going to be a candidate for demolition. Depending, of course, on accidents during the renovation.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, are those trees on the left side of the house looking toward it?
Correct, towards the
Yes.
driveway.
enjoy the house on the left-hand side.
What kind of trees are they? They're hardwoods.
No,
One's a
both of them were-
pine.
one was pine and one was a
Cedar.
cedar.
Oh, so they're not the ones that show in that picture that I just gave you? If they're
No.
still there.
They're
They're back
actually,
further?
yeah, they're back further and they're literally grown into the home, so.
Right, I understood that, and that's bad, but I was just wondering if, it's nice, it is kind of overgrown there,
Yeah.
but with so few trees in the historic National Register District, we're trying to save trees.
Yeah. I,
I'm not an
it's
expert.
it's not this dominant front left tree that's in this image.
Yeah, okay.
They are further back.
And I know there was a driveway there, because Bam used to park a car,
Yeah.
and that's not,
I'm not an expert, both those trees didn't look like they had a lot of life left in them.
yeah.
No, they didn't. They looked like they were sort of
Yeah, but, yeah.
just.
I understand.
And that must be a stone foundation.
Correct. Well,
We didn't
It was like poured concrete, it might have been stone
maybe
originally.
both.
Yeah, but it's a half and half.
Maybe it's been patched with concrete.
Would be my
The house
guess,
is
and I could be
fairly
wrong.
old,
Yes,
like 1870s or something.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's probably
Thank you very
maintained and
much.
redone
Yeah, thank
since,
you,
yeah.
Martha.
I'll send that, I'll include that
You guys,
with either if he comes in to pick it up or if I.
Yeah, right, great. I mean, I could mail it to him, but he's probably living somewhere else while he's fixing the house. so-
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, at
Just,
least until the septic's ready.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for bringing it. So for the RDA, no, that's all right, that's all right. How much of that we discussed is actually in there? So I'm trying to now remember what I'm adding.
So, including the removal of 2 trees that are currently causing damage to the foundation. And then I would, so, one of two things, you can read through the special conditions, but change to, and read off whatever you have for the dumpster placement, but you don't have to state that you're changing it.
Gotcha.
And then
So it's just,
number 5 as well, you just need to state driveway or backyard area versus paved surface area.
okay.
And then silt fence it.
Still a wattle.
Oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
straw wattles.
Or
If,
fence.
I mean, or
Yeah.
silt fence, along fence at rear property. So you have straw wattles along fence at rear property,
Okay.
dumpster at driveway area or at least 5 feet from existing fences. And
Stockpiles, in front of the existing shelter, kept on the existing driveway surface
yes,
area,
correct.
right? Because he has the dumpster in the back and use the others for stockpiles.
Yep.
New construction materials covered, that's fine. Same construction materials reference. Four shall be kept from existing driveway. So, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for the request for determination of applicability for 725 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What's my negative on this one?
Oh,
Sorry,
oh.
I will one of these years remember them, and I probably will.
So this one's -3
Three.
because you're adding conditions.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we have a -3, we have a -3 determination for the RDA for 725 Main Street with the following conditions: that we include the removal of 2 trees on the west side of the house, that there shall be no refuse left or placed in the resource area at any time. The necessary dumpster shall be placed and kept on the current existing driveway or lawn at least 5 feet from existing fences at all times. Stockpiled materials shall be kept at the front of the existing structure or shall be kept on the current existing driveway surface area. New construction materials are to be left on site. They should be covered as to reduce the possibility of being blown or pushed into the resource area. The same construction materials shall also be kept on the existing driveway or approved backyard area. And finally, that straw wattles or silt fences be placed along the back of the existing fence of the property prior to construction. Yeah. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff, you have the second?
Yes.
Hello.
It is now.
It's done.
You were all set.
You just missed it.
You just missed it, but you're all good.
Do we want to just run through
Yeah.
the conditions while he's here,
Yeah.
if anyone minds?
No, no, no. Too low.
Come on up.
Yo,
Yeah.
I spoke with the guys.
Yeah.
Shoes, yes, due to the stone foundation.
Okay.
So it's all removed.
Okay, and that's,
So, just for the true finance on driveway.
Yep, so we included that
Yeah.
as part of a condition for the determination. I will have a hard copy ready for you tomorrow. And I can either mail it to you or give it to you. The Historical Commission wanted me to give you this. It's a report on your home with some history. And then we are asking you though, to place straw wattles along the rear fence, so that the fence at the rear of the property, just if you place a dumpster in the driveway area or in the backyard area, so
Center or
that,
something like
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah, just protects
Yeah,
it.
Sure.
yeah, and you see those little round wattles, just if there's any runoff or anything that comes out, it just kind of
Yeah,
stops
for
it
now,
there.
I'm gonna have to work with dumpster and the septic system, so when they work, I cannot have a dumpster.
Yes,
So that's why
right.
Right,
I'm probably gonna
right.
have a dump like for just 2 or 3 days and then remove it something else.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to put
Okay.
on
Yeah.
some nice places.
So
I-
as
I-
part of, When, I think, Bill called and said that Jack's gonna be doing your septic for you, he's gonna be required to file a notice of intent. So as part of that notice of intent, there's probably gonna be, most likely, erosion controls associated with it as well, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm all set?
Yes, you were all set, and I'll
Thank
have a hard
you.
copy
Yeah.
for you tomorrow.
Alright.
Thank you.
Good luck. Rebecca, this is the cool lady's stuff.
Oh, yes.
And this is his stuff.
That's this. East End. All right. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider the request for determination submitted by Brian Condon regarding the proposed second-floor renovation of the existing structure located at 36 East End Road, the public meeting to be held this evening. Hey, come on up. Yeah.
This is Blake Gleason, he's the property owner.
Hello.
Brian Condon, the contractor.
Gotcha.
I'm a resident of East End Road, and I'm also the architect.
Wonderful.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you? Good, thanks.
You go there.
We're neighbors.
So, I was unfortunate, I was unable to make the site visit today, get out to everyone but
Got
that
that,
one.
we got there.
Yeah.
I was there, yes, and Rebecca was there.
And I was able to tell your wife that?
Fiance to be.
Fiance, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Fiancé to be.
Okay, so you're.
Yeah, yes.
You don't need
Oh.
a notice of intent.
No,
Yeah,
that's what I thought I was here.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That's a whole different subject.
Okay, okay.
So I was explaining to her, the reason why, obviously for renovating a home structure, actually you experienced one before where the entirety of the property is within the resource area, so that's why you would file an RDA for stockpiling, a dumpster if you need that on site. And then also, because it's slightly expanding the footprint, but it's vertical, not horizontal, so it's a little bit less concerning, in my opinion, to the Conservation Commission, but it's still jurisdictional. So it's just ironing that out, making sure you're not stockpiling or putting a dumpster in or near a resource area.
There's actually no excavation at all in this project.
Excellent.
There's no foundations, we're all building within the envelope
Yeah.
of the existing house. Basically, we're putting a dormer at the back of the property, of the roof,
yeah.
and two dormers on the front of the roof. They just enlarged two existing bedrooms.
All right. Do you have a copy of the RDA? So the existing one?
The RDA they submitted?
Yes.
Or a determination? So what we're
The
issuing?
the RDA, they submitted? Right.
There, and then this is the,
Gotcha.
and I did not include the architectural plans because it's within the envelope, that's what it's describing.
Is the case, again, it was not this, so the whole property within the buffer zone?
Yep, so here is the 100-foot riverfront area.
Yep.
This is a brick driveway, so it's basically a pervious surface. And this is all lawn toward the front of the house. There's lawn here, there's some garden area, and then most of it is a lawn area towards the rear as well. But this is where you have that riverfront area acting on Great Brook towards the rear, which is associated with the BBW as well.
Gotcha.
make sure we get the 50-foot, 100-foot buffer.
So front lawn driveway outside the buffer zone, or that's
So
100
it's
foot,
within
that's,
the
I got you.
riverfront area and within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Yeah,
Again, this is the wellhead, so what they were proposing is to put, when we're out on site, they basically stated a good stockpiling area that would be beneficial would be at the front of the home where it's currently lawn, and then putting a dumpster or a dump truck on the brick drive as it exists currently.
Yep.
And I think honestly, that's the farthest, as far as where the dumpster would be, that's the farthest outside without encroaching on their septic system and causing damage to that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that all makes perfect sense to me. I was gonna say, you must know the site to a certain extent, yeah.
It did look like on the plan that the well was more over towards the front of the house rather than where it was sitting, but I maybe, it looks like it was more over in the front of the house.
Well, it was off this corner here, but it may have been,
Anyway, maybe I was looking at the one.
no, but,
It was
so
out
you
of
have
the
to
way.
think too with the grades on this, where the
Yeah.
lawn is slightly high, so this is a slightly raised area compared to the driveway. I think that, where on a plan everything
Yeah,
is.
I know. I'm just saying. It's
No, I get it.
just
Yep.
Is anybody else, Brandon, you're not here to comment on this. Additional questions?
No,
As far as conditions go, special conditions, just looking at the ones we just did, it's basically just a modified version of that, right? If we try to keep everything to either
Yep.
existing paved driveway or lawn in front of the structure?
Yeah, and I think the only difference on this is they won't need straw piles.
No,
This
no,
area,
yeah, I get, yeah.
You're not close enough to a resource area.
Everything's coming out. Anything, I was basically gonna do the same special conditions as last time, which,
Yeah.
does that make sense? All right. In that case, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 36 East End Road.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so opposed. And, yep,
So drafted, I have, so it's -3.
yep,
And dumpster and any stockpile materials necessary for construction shall be placed on existing paved surface area. So at the end, it's technically not paved,
yep.
so,
I can do driveway.
yeah, whichever,
And you-
however you wanna
Were
word
we
that,
saying
and
the
change
front
that to
lawn, you,
lawn.
yeah, right? Or lawn in front of the structure? 'Cause you're-
The line in front of the house.
in front, yeah, because you're looking to possibly stockpile there, right?
The other side's like the septic,
Yeah.
on that side over there.
Yep. All right, so.
Is the garage functional? I mean, you could store stuff in the garage.
Yeah, you
if
could,
really had to, stuff that might blow all over the place, like insulation.
Yeah, small stuff like that. I mean, a lot of that stuff I probably would never keep outside anyways.
Yeah.
So the garage or right upstairs, and
Yep.
I mean, basically the stockpile is just lumber for the most part.
Yeah.
There's really no dirt.
For this,
no,
yeah.
Gonna put a new roof on the house?
New roof on it. Usually the shingles will be in a like pallet with plastic over it.
Okay, I was worried about the shingles are coming off, so
Yeah,
I think that might,
well, that would go in a dumpster.
yeah, we'll go right in the dumpster.
All right. Because, I'd like to make a motion that we I'd like to make a motion that we approve a -3 determination for the project at 36 East End Road with the following special conditions. One, should be no refuse left or placed in the resource area at any point in time. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Well, isn't the whole thing in the resource
Yeah, I was
area?
gonna say, how are you gonna do that?
No, it's in the
Well,
buffer.
Oh, it's in the buffer, yeah, not resource area,
Just
buffer,
that the
okay.
site- the site's clean
Yeah,
at the end of each day.
yep,
Any,
That's what it's basically saying that, because the resource area is actually
Yeah.
way to the rear of the property.
as opposed to the buffer.
mhm.
Okay. All right, 2, necessary dumpsters should be placed and kept on the current existing driveway or lawn in the front of the existing house. Stockpile material shall be kept at the front of the existing house or shall be kept on the current existing driveway surface area. If new construction materials are to be left on site, they shall be covered to reduce the possibility of being blown or pushed into the resource area. And the same construction materials referenced shall also be kept on the existing driveway or front of the existing house. I think that's all of them. Okay?
I agree.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Draft that up.
Yep.
When are you gonna start? Tomorrow.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
As soon as these sign.
Yeah.
You guys sign, does this go then to the building inspector?
So how it works is, I will make a copy of that for you, or you can give it to the property owner or vice versa. So you get a copy for your records, and at that point, once you pick it up, I can sign off on the building permit. So I go to the building department, so long as they still have your permit, you need to take it back, which I believe they do.
I believe they still have it.
Yeah.
My,
7-year open inspector. What's happening tonight?
Any questions?
No?
Guys are all set.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
very much.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you. Good night. We'll be quiet now. Thank you.
Sister, do I even have an opening for the Andrea?
So what are these little shirts with the whales on them now? They replaced the polo ponies? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. They replaced the black dog.
The black dog and polo
Your figure
ponies.
signs instead of.
Everybody seems to have one but me.
Get on that.
How you doing? They're doing it, they're busy down there.
Yeah, they're doing a great job,
Yeah,
actually.
they're in there.
Yeah.
I haven't been back in there, that they put a steel thing across the,
Yeah, they played it there.
Played that down
Yeah.
and-
And that's dry actually now too, I don't know. if
Yes.
you've been over there, so-
I'll bet it is.
Did
Drive right
you
up.
get a hold of Erica about the bond and the split?
I
You're still
emailed her
working on
back, and then they came in yesterday and paid not
Okay.
only the bond, but the check for Hamway.
Okay, all right,
So
I know she's with
I think that was left with Danny.
Yes. Okay. Great.
Alright. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed for 42 Harvard Road. The public meeting to be held this evening.
Brandon Ducharme, Dillis. We've held a site walk, and Seth was at your last meeting presenting the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation to certify the wetland resource areas on site. We have some additional information that we submitted electronically, but I've got hard copies for you tonight, which just provides additional information to further document that the stream's intermittent. We had the 4 days pictures of a dry stream bed. We've also included 2 signed affidavits, one from myself and one from Eileen Griffin Wright, who is the real estate agent who's working for the Wetzels. We've also provided just some additional information. We've analyzed the stream using the stream stats method. And just to kind of interpret that, we analyzed a few areas of the stream. So just as you look at USGS, this is the existing house right here. The stream, what looks like the main stream actually comes through here, which this section isn't even mapped perennial. It's not even mapped. there's the leg that kind of comes through, comes across the field there, and then when they tie together, it's considered perennial on USGS through there. We picked a few design points, basically analyzing the watershed area that's contributing to this stream, as well as we analyzed where the streams come together. And that actually, we put the design point all the way down towards Harvard Road, so now you're kind of looking at the watershed area of both legs of the stream. And the guidance on that is basically, if it's less than a half square mile, it's an intermittent stream. And then there's some criteria based on analyzing flow if you're between a half to a mile.
Yep.
And anything over a square mile is typically perennial. So we analyzed both the leg of the perennial stream that kind of cuts through the property there is 0.14 square miles, so really not much at all, which is why it dries up. And then we analyzed where they come together, looking at this leg, which it isn't map perennial, but just for your information, and that was 0.24. And even with that, I think that's pretty conservative, because if you look at the model here, it's picking up quite a bit of watershed area on the other side of 117, which I really don't think gets over there. So realistically, it's probably even half of that. And then we basically combined both of those and did a design point where this stream crosses Harvard Road. So that's basically the most it could possibly be. And at that, it's 0.43 square miles. So basically, just some additional information,
Yeah, I was gonna
add
say,
a
yeah.
file to kind of support the decision that it's an intermittent stream.
Any questions down this end? Okay, everybody's here to comment. Yeah, it was hard. We did have a chance to walk out there. It seems like you hit the burden of proof the first time through. I know we were waiting for the file number. It was nice of you to do the extra work too. Appreciate it. Again, it seems to meet the burden of proof for having it reclassified as an intermittent stream. Do we need to vote on that? Roll call vote, and again, I don't know if you want a chance to get out there. I know you've been out there.
If you go out there, wear long pants.
Yeah, lots of times. But the 4 days of dry weather, I think that you guys had 5 or even 6 that they gave us too on top of it.
Yeah, and I've been out on the site, several times during the year last year, and it was dry. I really only seen it running the way it is now, kind of in the spring. So it's not like it's one of those ones that really just slows down for a month, there's something close.
How come it says that it goes across 117? This, I thought, was like, is that where the church is? Right there?
Yeah, so I really,
That doesn't,
I don't think that gets there, but,
I noticed it right behind my house, it gets soaking wet in there behind the telephone company thing.
yes, yep.
But
Yeah.
I've never seen anything, I'm just,
So it doesn't necessarily have to run, but that's.
Yeah, no,
just
this
what
is
the
just
watershed
looking
is
at,
considered.
so if you picture topography, it's
Yeah.
basically looking at when rain falls, everything that drains down to
Oh,
that
yeah.
point,
Yeah.
so.
oh,
But what
so
happens
that could be
is,
draining
yeah,
from
I don't
this
think it
side.
really accounts for 117,
yeah.
but even at that, I don't know how we'll quite honestly get it there, because there's another stream that actually flows in front of some of these other houses here,
Yeah, I know.
that branch comes in anyway, so.
It's unusual where water goes. I was just wondering, I'm just asking a question.
I understand. Again, is it something we?
So you're issuing ORAD, which I didn't have time to go back and draft in the office.
Okay.
So we will sign either one by one, or I can bring it to the July 10th meeting. But you can still issue that the delineation has been approved.
Yep.
And if that's what the commission wishes, or if there are any changes to be made, so you can still make that issuance and approval at this time.
Okay.
And then to sign.
Yep, so we basically closed the public hearing.
Yep.
Well, let me do that first. I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for 42 Harvard Road.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So, would I then make a motion that we approve the current abbreviated notice of resource area delineation
Yes,
As-
and I would,
reference the,
yes.
It's, you're accepting the wetland delineation as shown, and I refer to the plan. Basically, because that's going to be the document that gets recorded.
okay. Drawing number or plan number?
So
I would
you
just
can
say
actually
on the
say the
existing
title,
conditions.
Yeah.
and then signed and stamped by, and then the date.
Do you want me to remember all this?
Sorry.
So.
I feel your pain now.
I know, I had it all for a minute there. I'd like to make a motion that we accept, or that we find,
So you're issuing an order of resource area delineation. So you accept the current delineation and issue an order of resource area delineation.
so I'd like to make a motion that we accept the current delineation, yeah, as shown on existing conditions plan for 42 Harvard Road, Bolton, Massachusetts, stamped by Stanley R. Dillis, thank you, number 33162, special stamp number, job number 5762, and drawing number 5762. Yeah.
I'll write those just in. Okay.
And then we issue an order of resource area delineation based upon those plans.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And find that the perennial stream is
Correct.
And find, yeah, that the perennial stream is in fact, should in fact be classified as an intermittent stream, and then it does run dry for more than 4 days in a year. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Should be good.
That is my fault.
Why don't you start reading tomorrow?
I'll get better at this. We probably have another 10 or 12 years, I'll get better at this.
So it's like this, like I said, I used to leave my brain in the cast, oh god.
Yeah.
Do you guys need to do anything with it before July 10th? I don't know if you're trying to get out there, if there's a, I mean, I can stop in at some point in time this week and sign it, if you need it before our next meeting.
I think the findings are good enough and the closed public hearing.
Yeah.
I know they've got a sale of the house, that's the only thing, but I think
The house was sold.
it's under agreement, yeah.
It's a nice property.
Really?
Really,
With me.
Oh, cool.
really is a nice
Very
property.
smart people, yeah.
It's a planner.
Yes, and she's also in municipal government as well. So they know what they're doing.
That would explain
Which
it,
is good.
yeah. That would really explain it. All right, excellent. Well, we can try to sign,
I'm retired, I can sign anything.
if you get it written up in the next couple of days, I'll try to pop in either this week or early next.
Okay.
You just like send out an email when
Yeah.
it's
We'll
ready.
stop in on Friday to sign it.
Yeah.
I'll be here Friday morning, but Friday afternoon I'll be in Western Mass.
We can keep
Yeah.
it. All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want me to stick around for Russell or?
We can do that right now.
Up to you.
So this is the request for certificate from the client.
115?
yeah. So Brandon actually wasn't the one who worked on it, but Greg was, so since he was here, I just let him know. This is a site visit from this morning, I emailed you a copy, and it's included in your, it should be included in your folders as well. The report from Greg just stating that the plantings are sufficient, the area is now stable, the wattles are still in place, the serviceberry and the bush blueberry. And it's significantly grown in there, but you can see where the plants are still flagged. And they would like to be, they had requested a certificate of compliance, so that is what they were looking for.
you went out on the site visit. Did you have any questions, concerns?
I did not. I don't have the history with this one though, as much as I'm sure you or Lori do. But in terms of what was outstanding, it seemed to just be the plantings. I know he had come to us last year.
My understanding, what's that?
Is this at the base of the hill?
This
Yeah.
is, it backs right up to the Tadmore subdivision, and I think there was a mound kind of in his backyard. It might have been because of the old rail bed. that went-
Yeah, all right, so I
So I
think that's
know
what-
basically
yeah.
he got rid of that stockpile,
Yeah,
leveled the backyard,
yeah.
and then they did some plantings. I think there's some high bush blueberry and some
Mhm.
serviceberry. And we've been waiting the 2 years for that to make sure that we had
And
established.
everything's still going.
Yeah.
Correct. Actually, yes, and that's the plan that's included in your folder as well.
This one.
Correct.
I think there's a divot or something you filled in, whatever. And let the
Yeah,
backyard on.
yeah, how it.
Is Tadmore yours too? Is that your
Yeah,
problem, responsibility, whatever? They're doing crazy
Yeah.
in there too.
yeah.
That'll be crazy, I mean, it seems to be going fast.
They're going according to plan.
I know,
Right
that's
along, I know.
Exactly what I
It's
think,
strange.
according to plan.
Yeah, both of these contractors are pretty efficient,
Yeah.
which is what you want. You don't want the situation
Yeah, I
that's
know.
drag.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard-
Should you open it up? Yeah, close it up, and yeah, it's good. I mean, if you have any additional concerns, and I have to remember this part. So, I'd like to make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 115 Wilder Road.
Second.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm third. All those in favor?
Aye. Did you plant any poison ivy here?
No,
That comes natural.
No,
It's a
narcotic or
native.
whatever the stuff
It is,
is.
yeah, it's a native. We should put that in our suggestion list when people need to replant or revegetate, like high bush blueberry, or
Poison ivy.
poison ivy, you can get a nice poison ivy in there, whatever.
I mean, no one
works
will
best.
disturb the area after.
Everyone's poison ivy, yeah.
Thank
It was a lot.
thank you. We'll see.
See you later.
Good night.
Next time.
I actually did get to read all the minutes today, because it was less than an hour last time, so we're in good shape there. Did you guys have a chance to look through it? If not, if you would like to look
I
through
did
it.
actually, well.
Yeah.
1 second.
We'll let you read through those minutes. Century Mill Lot 1, line versus tree line?
Yeah, so we had briefly mentioned that because I'd gone out on a site visit. So now, because he wants to request certificate of compliance, and I basically said I can't. I said he has every right to, but I cannot confidently say to you that the project is in compliance because although he removed the shrubs, it was a dead tree. On the plan that it was conditioned with, it's supposed to be a tree line, not a lawn. And I know the current resident that had moved in there wants it to be lawn, he likes how it looks aesthetically, and I said, that's basically irrelevant, not to be harsh,
Yeah.
but it's up to the commission, and it does state on the plans that it's a tree line. So I said that I would come back to you to basically ask, do you want serviceberry, high bush blueberry planted there, or do you want to leave it in its current state?
That's when I'd like to go out and take a look.
Okay.
I don't,
What property is this on?
This is Central Mill Road, previously the Goddard conditioned property. That's very tight within the vernal pool
Mhm.
here.
it's designed very tight.
Yes.
Those two. Yeah, if possible, I'd like to just to go out and see their
Mhm.
proposal where they wanna put it. Spot exactly from the road.
Um, So you wanna do a site visit and then address it at the next meeting?
Yeah, or if they want us, because is that, are they asking for COC?
Well, they want to have it wrapped up.
Yes.
The developer and contractor, whichever term you'd like to use, I don't know which one's the correct one, but anyways, he would like to see it wrapped up, because now there's someone living there. And, you know, it's sort of minimal in his mind because it's now stable with lawn, which I get that thought, but
Yeah.
I also, at the end of the day, again, I said I can't
Yeah.
confidently say it. So the short answer is yes, they're looking to wrap it up,
To get a certificate of
to get a
compliance.
certificate of
All right.
compliance, but
But if it doesn't match the plan,
exactly.
if it matches the plan, you could wrap it up. If it doesn't match the plan, then it needs to be viewed.
Yeah.
Right, and it either needs to be amended by the commission to approve it to stay as lawn as a field amendment, or have planting suggested and they can rip it up.
Go back to the original. Yeah, I think I'd like to go take a look and see
Yeah.
where it's at, and I've given me a chance to look at our original orders, because I know it was developed type for a reason. It was on the plan, it's like, oops, I planted a lawn here, like,
Yeah, it's
really?
like-
We were quite clear that you can't do
Do
that.
that.
So, like I said, I'll go take a look, if it's
Yeah.
close or whatever, maybe it's better, that's fine, if
Mhm.
not, no. Yeah, that's a tough one. But
Yeah,
I'd love to
and-
go take a look and see where it ended up.
Yeah, and again, like I stated last time, the conversation had been had that you can pull that dead tree out for the purposes of construction and the shrub brush that was in there, but there was no conversation, and they even admitted that it would be restored to lawn, but they said, well, there's nothing there anyways, so there weren't trees there after that, because there weren't large diameter trees in that area aside from the one that was down. So that's what their reasoning was, but I still tend to lean toward the plan.
And I'll definitely go
Okay,
take a
so-
look and, yeah,
okay.
I'll keep an
So
open
we'll
mind.
say, I'll request a site visit, and then it will be discussed or determined at the next meeting.
Yeah. And we can either discuss it at the next meeting too, but that's also one too, if you want us to submit to you our own thoughts.
Yep. that
Just
can be
everybody
fine.
submit two thoughts, and then you can relay them, kind of compile, relay them, and if they want to officially come in, and
Yep.
or if they think maybe
That would
we'll
work.
finish doing this first, we'll do it, like easier. All right. Excellent. Minutes?
Good.
Good? All right. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for our June 6, 2018 meeting as they were drafted and submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Aye. Guess I should have put that there. Any good mail?
We had received a letter of an article which I emailed to all of you because it's slightly lengthy, regarding, it's from an individual from the Boston Mineral Club. They had reached out to inquire about what the policies or potential policies were regarding collection of minerals in the town. I had actually reached out to Brian immediately and said, my automatic response would be no, because it's conservation property. However, we have then come to the realization, and after speaking with Bob, because it was actually about the lime kiln, and through further conversation about the quarry as well, but more so about the lime kiln, what had been done in the past, what's been the past policy, and the past policy is you get permission from the property owner, irregardless if it's private or the Conservation Commission or the town. You need to request permission first, and it basically has that disclaimer in the top of the article so that everyone's establish what the responsibility of the person going on the property is, along with if you have interest in collecting in minerals. Also, the only individuals who are allowed are individuals who are interested for research purposes and have some form of backing that prove that they're doing it for research purposes. And the article's interesting. It's a geological article about basically locating these specific geological areas. And I encourage anyone watching to look it up and read it. But it was very interesting, at least I found it interesting, but again, it features one of our conservation properties. So in the beginning, there was some, I think, miscommunication on what the article was about, what it was for, but now it's been ironed out, and I think it was done in an appropriate manner at the end of the day. So that's really all the interesting mail.
It was a good read. I did.
Yeah.
I read most of
I
that. I actually had a
enjoyed
chance to go through most of it. It was fascinating. But
And the shed, so I had emailed for the Tom Denny Nature Camp, which will be beginning soon. I forget
July
the exact dates.
something,
Yep.
July
I think
10th.
it's,
maybe.
yeah, second week of July. So we previously approved, a shed that's currently on the property that they're just moving down to the waterfront area. There is a shed, I guess, that is falling apart, to my understanding. They would like to replace it. However, they don't make the same,
Shed anymore.
yes, they don't make the same shed anymore with the exact same measurements. So they were going a little bit bigger and just requesting, that is okay before they go ahead and purchase it, even though it's kind of a time crunch right now. And also, they had mentioned something about a container that's here or on another town property, and they said in hindsight they would really like something like that. So basically what's behind town hall, like a large metal container.
One of those shipping.
Yes,
Yeah.
like a shipping crate or container to keep all their supplies in over the winter and leave it on Bower Springs. And I stated I wouldn't be able to approve that without speaking to the commission because it's an additional shed, to my understanding, or structure on the property, to my understanding. And I basically stated it would probably be more likely the commission would look to that if you removed all your other structures. But I think what's there is feasible, especially if they're replacing it with a newer shed. But again, it's up to the commission.
Biting my lip on that, why would they want a trailer on Bower Springs, I suppose, but.
Because it's a
I know.
large,
yeah, you can.
So it
you
would
get
be
it
out of the
there
way
one.
and be out of sight down the way and off the, wherever the other shed is.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I can understand. I'm not saying for
She has
some
all
reasons
these-
I can.
She always has all
I can
these
understand the reason.
these
Yeah.
kayaks and stuff now that she has to store, so.
Yeah. I'd want to think more on that one.
Okay,
You know,
and that's
as far
fine.
as buying the shed to replace the old shed, if it's, within, I suppose we have to get like 10% larger or less.
okay.
Is it relatively close? It's okay if it's like, if it has to be a little bit bigger, that's great. If it has to be 5 times the size, whoa.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that's perfectly fine. I can understand they're up against a time crunch, and then
I
we'll have
agree.
some thought. And it'd be nice to when we have Emily and Bill as well, just to hear their thoughts on it too, because that's what I'd like to think about it.
Yeah.
And they do have some time, right? It's
Right.
kind of a winter closeout, or end of summer closeout.
But if the next meeting is July 10th,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be open,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but they weren't requesting, they were saying it would be beneficial to have something like that, but they're good with the shed so long as they can replace that shed.
oh, all right, that's right.
That was my understanding anyways.
Gotcha.
But I will certainly confirm that. Also, turtle crossing signs for Wattaquatic Hill Road. I had someone forward me an email regarding a turtle crushed on Wattaquatic Hill Road over by Fifeshire. So basically where Northbrook goes under Wattaquatic Hill Road and then empties into the upper pond. signage is always good. I think it creates an awareness. I reached out to Mass Wildlife to see who had placed the signs on Still River Road, the larger like DOT turtle signs. And it was Mass Wildlife on behalf of Mass DOT. It was a project that they had collaborated on basically because there was a high mortality rate of landings turtles on that roadway. So Mass Wildlife has a limited number of those specific signs to be deployed throughout their various communities. And I did speak to them directly to see what company they used, just in the event that maybe we didn't qualify for what they looked for. But and at the end of the day, we don't for Water Aquatic because I have no data and I have no historical data of there being a high mortality rate of turtles or anything on that roadway. That is something that, and there is one confirmed, so I did note that. I have been looking into basically wildlife impacts throughout town, just beginning to and starting to create data that's associated with that and outreach to other individuals so that we have this. So when these conversations come up, I can say, yes, we have the data to back it. But our local specialist, Rona, has graciously decided to create some turtle crossing signs on her own time. So we will at least have a couple there that we'll be able to place. I think we're placing at least one, or I'm going to reach back out to Mass Wildlife to place another one further up by the Harvard line on Still River Road. And then we'll probably use Rona's down on Water Aquatic.
Do we need permission? I mean, is that a DPW selectman?
So for that is something I will be reaching out to DPW for. I look at it just like the salamander signs of Big Night because you don't want them up all times of the year. You want them just most active because then it keeps it fresh, basically.
Yeah, obviously. Turtle signs back up.
Yeah. People know what to look for, and it's more of an awareness than leaving them up, and it just sort of blends in with the scenery. But I will certainly be reaching out to DPW, and if we determine that it's necessary, or if I speak to Dylan, he determines it's necessary to get it approved by Board of Selectmen, we will certainly do so. Yeah.
But that's great, and thank you to Rona too. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on? Other open.
Well, so next meeting, just sort of as a heads up.
Yep.
A member who came to the site visit and then came to a few Conservation Commission meetings, Chris McNamara, he has submitted his letter of interest, so that will be on the agenda for the commission to vote on, and then seeing if we vote for it, which it would seem so, then they will be on the Board of Selectmen's agenda for that Thursday. And lastly, it's the end of the fiscal year, so this is the chance, if we do want to reorganize the board. I know Brian does a wonderful job as chair, but we also don't have a listed vice chair, so we need to establish that as well, just sort of an administrative item.
Well, we'll hopefully have Bill for that one.
Yes.
And we might even have Emily for that one.
Yes.
We'll put one of them in charge because they're not here tonight.
So
That's it. You missed the preview.
That's what happened.
I'll second that.
Yeah, it's
I'll second that.
3-2. We can, we'll take care of that.
I did take the Conservation Commission chainsaw over to Robinson's to get it tuned up because we moved
Yes.
it. And we broke one of Rebecca's chains while using that.
Chainsaw.
But, to use my chainsaw, great. We'll use that. Bing. Made 3 revolves around the thing.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that. It hit another. I think it hit something, but it went bing, and then it was.
It's a little Tripper Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah, happy. I'm very happy.
Do we have any other end of the fiscal year? I mean, we just gotta, I know we're here about our budget.
The other, one other quick
Can-
One
Yes.
quick other thing that we should talk about, I guess, in is what to do with that sign. You know, the sign that was falling over, the snowplows that.
Oh, yes, so.
Because that really needs to be actually replaced. It's falling apart.
Can you, if you.
I'm
Can you
retired,
just-
I've got nothing to
Can you just
do.
write up a little description and I can email blast it to
Okay, I'll
everyone
do
so
that. I'll
that
take
we're
some
all on the
pictures of
same
it
page?
and
So,
tell you what it needs. Because
Yeah.
it's like leaning like this, and this
Yeah.
run is all split, and
The Fry Road, Berlin Road split,
Yeah.
is that
Yes.
little park that those,
Yeah.
that sign is just.
yeah, but Larry and I cleaned it. He went in there with his weed whacker and cleaned out a bunch of stuff, and then we put it in the truck and
yeah.
took it to the trash. But it needs, it's not gonna, if we have another winter where there's a lot of snow, that's what happens to it. The plows push the snow in there, and it just,
It's just, yeah, it's-
you know, so.
So it needs
Ronan
to
was
be-
out there supervising.
Yes, it needs to be moved, or replaced, like Jeff said. And
Yeah.
if it's moved, it has cement footings on it, so we'll have to,
Dig those out. You're gonna have to dig those out anyway, because this sign is,
yeah,
It's
we'll
falling
have to
apart.
recruit,
you know,
or
it's not,
respectfully recruit the DPW to help, hopefully.
Wrap a chain
Um,
around it.
Yeah.
anyway, that's on the agenda, you know, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a Trails Committee agenda, it's a Conservation Commission. Because there are no trails there,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
just mud.
It's more of a park than
Park,
but
yeah.
regardless.
The
Yeah.
bird watching site is what it is.
Is it a trust sign or?
Yes, it's a trust. I think it's a trust. You know, I don't know who owns the sign.
Okay, so that's what we would have to double
I think
check
Betsy
because-
may know, Betsy Taylor may know, so.
I mean, I have a list in my office, but I don't have it in front of me, but if it's, so if the property, I have no problem helping out if the commission's okay with it, but, if it's a trust property, I don't know what their policy is on signs or repairing them. If it was a conservation
Yeah,
property.
it's not on the trail, so it's not, there's no trail there per se.
I know, so, but the trust still maintains their,
Yeah, it
property.
may be a trust issue, so I'll ask. I'll
yeah, and
find
so
out.
that's, yeah.
I'll take some pictures
We
of
can answer
it,
that question very,
I'll take
very
some
easily,
pictures of
very
it and
quickly, but.
send something to you to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'll get your chainsaw.
I'll help
back.
out either way.
I'll get
Yeah,
your chainsaw back.
yeah. But, yeah, we just need to confirm that.
The chain fell off, what happened to that?
Yeah, Jeff comes back.
She probably knew it, she just.
That's good news and bad news. We-
Yeah, she's
No,
Most of the tree
I
done.
literally just had it tuned up to maybe, well, not just, maybe a couple months ago now, so I know it was all good, but
Perfect.
just cracking
Nice,
up, he came
clean.
back.
I think-
Sorry.
Here's your chain.
Yeah.